So emotional intelligence is not trauma dumping, first and foremost. It's not saying like, oh, everything you've ever gone through, you're just going to spew it on top of the person that you're willing to connect with. Emotional intelligence is actually the opposite. It's understanding how to be vulnerable in an intelligent way. And vulnerability, when you leverage it in a perspective of knowing what to share and how to share it, starting small, for one, that's going to allow you to open up, and it gives the other person agency to say, oh, they're willing to share and open up a little bit. Let me share too, so that you can get past that surface level conversation of what's your favorite color, what's your favorite flower, all those things you asked on the first date that really take you nowhere. You want to get past those things so you can be different. If you're asking the same questions as the next guy because that's like the easiest things to say because you're afraid of saying the wrong things, then what separates you outside of looks? And looks are only going to take you a certain distance, and confidence only takes you a certain distance. So that emotional intelligence is really about, again, self-awareness, knowing like where your strengths are, what you need to work on, how you show up to those conversations each day, being willing to kind of remove yourself from the conversation a little bit and detaching and not personalizing so you can ask more questions about that lady and get to know her. That's why emotional intelligence is so important. It allows and makes space for that connection and to remove your ego a little bit to make room for you to step in that place with curiosity and understanding that, being the man to this woman does not mean that you have to show up with a bunch of bravado or any of that. You could show up calm, show up clear in your messaging, and show up curious about what matters to her.
Yeah. And it also suggests that you can share a little bit about yourself. You can open up and be a bit vulnerable and do it in a very attractive way. So,
Absolutely.
okay. So I honestly, I just want you to speak this entire podcast because I feel like you're so good at explaining this. So to the guys that are listening, so most of them are single or most of them are out of a long-term relationship and looking to get into a new relationship. Some may be in a marriage, right? Where they're still struggling because there's tension in their relationship and there's a disconnection. I would love for you to give like the guidance to these guys on how to display emotional intelligence in the beginning stages of dating. Like how can they show this side without, again, becoming emotional saps or having trauma dumping? How do they do this in the proper way that has them seemingly becoming this amazing man that women just obsess over?
Yeah, absolutely. And this applies to all of those different situations and circumstances the men listening are in. When you talk about showing up to a interaction with emotional intelligence, one, confidence is automatically exuded because you have done the work to know yourself. And we can talk about what that work should look like from that self-awareness, self-management standpoint. But let's talk about that social interaction side first. So when you show up as an emotionally intelligent man, you're going to show up as someone who, again, that curiosity comes in. You want to know about that woman. You pay attention to what she's doing. You're not on your phone while you're talking to her. You're not checking your watch every 5 minutes because that shows that you're not interested or you're not respecting those spaces, or you feel like there's something more important. That's first and foremost. Show up with attention so you can show intention. That's the first step. The second step is think about some predetermined questions that you may ask. If you're someone who struggles with holding a conversation because you feel kind of nervous or awkward, think about a couple of questions that you can show up and say, all right, these are something that I would genuinely be interested in asking so I can get past the questions I said earlier about what's your favorite color. Nothing wrong with those, but at a certain point, we got to get past those surface level questions.
No, there's a lot wrong with those.
Right. So we can ask. Kristen said there's a lot wrong. We can ask those. Fine. You got to know that for the anniversary, right? To know what you need to get her. But let's dive deeper. Learn what she cares about. Learn her hobbies. Learn what drives her. What does romance look like in a relationship? Those are the types of things that are really going to separate you and differentiate you. So think about those at least 3 questions you can come up with before you get to that date. The third thing is really understanding that if you ask a question, you should be able to answer that question. So like do that introspection to discover what's important for you. Take that time to do values alignment so you can ensure that what you're talking about and this person that's in front of you has some values in alignment with yourself. One of the things that helped me when it came to my wife is understanding that as a man, we also don't have to be a problem solver all the time. She helped me tremendously with that. So when you show up to a woman, if this is your 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, or 70th date, just understand that if she does share something with you, you do not necessarily need to say, hey, I have a solution. That is a complete turnoff.